So the day before is a game that I talked about last week, and I said it was one of the worst games I've ever played. It's actually worse than Gollum, and in my opinion, is worse than all the other games that I've played this year. I know, that's a crazy statement to say considering how bad those games were. Anyways, when I talked about that game, like about 3 or 4 days later after it came out, the studio shut down. They said, hey, you know what? Our game didn't do well. It didn't make no sales, and it was trash. And then you fast forward to yesterday, and it's even worse. It just keeps on getting worse. And I was surprised that it even got to this point. Let me read you their new statement. So they made the statement yesterday. It says, "Dear community, we regret to inform you that the development company Fntastic has officially ceased operation. And as a result, the day before will be retired and the servers will be turned off." January 22nd, 2024. A little over a month that it stayed up for, and that was it. As previously communicated, Mytona, as the investor, has been working in collaboration with Steam to facilitate refunds for all game purchasers. For any players that have not already had their purchase refunded, Steam will now proactively refund all remaining players. We extend our gratitude to community support throughout this project's life. Unfortunately, without a development team, we had no alternative choice but to officially close the project. We sincerely thank all supporters throughout this journey and wish you all a happy holiday season. Now, to anyone who pays attention, it should have been pretty obvious. When they made their other statement a while back, they originally said, hey, at the moment, the future the day before and prop night is unknown, but the servers will remain operational. Guess that stayed true to some extent. But anyone that, if your whole studio is shutting down, there's no universe where you're going to be able to keep the servers running. You can't maintain it. You don't have a team to work on it. So it was just kind of odd to see, like, how are you going to keep the, why don't you just shut it down now? But that's where you go to this point where you can sit there and see that they haven't updated their actual website yet. You can go here and click on the game. Of course, overwhelmingly negative. Says the day before is no longer available on the Steam store. Like, it's so wild. This is one of the rare instances of a game that comes out, was super hyped, one of the most wishlisted games on Steam, and it just flopped terribly. It just handled all poorly all around. Like, that is just crazy to like wrap my head around. And you know what the sad part is? In the last 24 hours, there were still people playing this game. I don't know who logged on. I don't know why. For what purpose? What do you hope to get out of this game? I don't get this. In the last 24 hours, there were at least 96 people on. That was a peak. What you doing on the game, dog? There's nothing to do. There's like, I don't get it. I guess maybe it's because they made the statement so people felt the need to go out there and be like, you know, let me go back on this game real quick. I need to at least remember one more time to see how bad the game is. But I don't know. I just want to talk about this real quick because I just find this whole situation is very fascinating. I think one of their biggest fuck ups was this right here. They paid for this bullshit ass space in New York Times Square. Why? You paid for a billboard slot for a fucking early access game where everyone was talking about your game. Why waste that money? It makes no sense. There's so many baffling decisions, and I hope someone makes a documentary one day that goes over the entire development process behind this game so I can see what the fuck really happened, because none of this makes sense. And I really am in the same camp as everyone else that screamed this is a scam in a sense. But the thing is, you technically did get your money back if you paid for it, and Steam is proactively giving refunds. So for whatever scam at this point that they did try to attempt, it didn't work because ultimately they don't get any money. So they spent all this time working on the game that was never going to make any money at all, and instead they just wasted money. Now, the leading theory a lot of people had was originally this game was meant to be like an investor type game where they try and get someone to invest a lot of money into the game, and they just show a proof of concept and then maybe take that money and run with it. That's kind of the idea, is that they were in this development process for so long, but in reality, they were just taking the money from the investors. It wasn't really supposed to be a scam to the customers, but just to investors. And so to meet their part of their obligation to a contract, they had to release the game eventually, and that's what we got. And so technically, they did fulfill their obligation to release a game, and then they made money alongside it because they had an investor to pay money and back them up. So I don't know. It's a very interesting situation. Anyways, I just want to cover this real quick. You made this far into the video, consider giving a like, subscribing to the channel. Let me comment below what you think. Have a great day. Yeah.